Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of 2nd Chronicles, the 5th chapter. And as we've seen in the previous chapters, leading up unto this point, right, beginning with King Solomon coming up into power and his dedication to build the temple of the Lord, which King David had prepared him for, right, providing materials and people already assigned to help him with this, right? And we see the building of that, the making of the different materials that were needed, the employment of the the Phoenicians, right, or the people of Tyre, and so on. So here we are in 2nd Chronicles chapter 5, to the end of the building. And it reads, verse 1, "Thus all the work that Solomon made for the house of the Lord Yahweh was finished. And Solomon brought in all the things that David his father had dedicated, and the silver and the gold and all the instruments, put he among the treasures of the house of God. Then Solomon assembled the elders of Israel, and all the heads of the tribes, and the chief of the fathers of the children of Israel, unto Jerusalem, to bring up the ark of the covenant of the Lord Yahweh out of the city of David, which is Zion." So now, after having completed the building and gotten all the resources, the gold, the silver, and X, Y, and Z, now all that was left was to bring the ark of the covenant into the actual temple now. "Wherefore all the men of Israel assembled themselves unto the king in the feast, which was in the 7th month." And when you look this up, let's go real quick to Deuteronomy. Not Deuteronomy, I think it's Leviticus 23. Leviticus 3, right? These, it says here, Leviticus 23:2, "Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feasts of the Lord Yahweh, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts." And then it goes into 3 times a year, right? You're gonna have the men of the Lord, right? The Israelites come to Jerusalem to keep these holy days. So the first we see here is dealing with the Passover, right? And then we have here, let's see if we can find the 7th. Matter of fact, let's do a search. 7. There we go. 7th month. 7th month. There we go. This is Leviticus 23:23. "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the 1st day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, and holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord." Jump into verse 27, right? You have now the 10th day of the 7th month. So the 1st day of the 7th month, you have the blowing of the trumpets, right? The memorial of the blowing of the trumpets. The 10th day, you have the Day of Atonement. And now let me see if there's a bit more. There we go. And then on the 15th day of the 7th month is the Feast of Tabernacles for 7 days. Yep. So a couple of, different things that are going on there in the 7th month. Here it mentions the feast, so it likely could be the Feast of, I think it was Tabernacles that we just read. Verse 7 days. "And also the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days. It shall be a Sabbath," or it might be the Feast of First Fruits here. Let us take a look here. Yeah, gathering in of the fruits. Yeah, I believe that is the case here. Let's see, Feast of First Fruits. Yep, oh, actually, no, that is Leviticus 23 and 9. It's been a while since I went through this. So yeah, I believe this will be, what's that, Numbers 28 and 26, which might be a reference here. The Feast of Weeks. Oh, which includes the Feast of First Fruits. All right, so that's probably what it is. Let's do that. Feast of Weeks. Yep, Leviticus 23 and 15 to 22. And we already covered that. So what is Leviticus? Let's see. Leviticus 23 and 15th day of this month. Ah, there we go. Feast of Tabernacles, right. So I don't know why I missed that. But that is correct, the Feast of Tabernacles. Had to make sure our brain was checked on that. So back to 2 Chronicles, the 5th chapter here. So as we can see, like I said, this is likely the feast that was being kept over here. Nevertheless, 2 Chronicles chapter 5, verse 3. Wherefore all the men of Israel assembled themselves unto the king in the feast, which was in the 7th month. And all the elders of Israel came, and the Levites took up the ark. And they brought up the ark and the tabernacle of the congregation, and all the holy vessels that were in the tabernacle. These did the priests and the Levites bring up. Also King Solomon and all the congregation of Israel that were assembled unto him before the ark sacrificed sheep and oxen, which could not be told, nor numbered for multitude. So that was a long day of sacrificing, and that must have been a whole lot of sacrifices. And the priests brought in the ark of the covenant of the Lord Yahweh into his place, to the oracle of the house, into the most holy place, right? Otherwise known as like the Holy of Holies, even under the wings of the cherubims. And that's why when you look up, typically, Ark of the Covenant, you'll see it looks something like this, right? They'll have either this, which was the actual design of the ark, but I want to see if they have it within the temple area. Okay, Covenant in the temple. Yeah, so maybe they don't depict that part there, but on the ark you can see the actual two. Okay, here we go. So this is one of them here. Yeah, so once again, somebody's depiction of the description of the temple that King Solomon had built, but you can see there are what's supposed to be the depiction of the cherubims with their two wings, and then you have the ark that's in between them right here. And the ark itself, what I believe was also designed in a way to have two angels basically facing each other, like on the ark. So that's where they put it. And that's the Holy of Holies, right? The place that only the high priest was allowed to go into once a year for the Day of Atonement. It says, even under the wings of the cherubims. For the cherubims spread forth their wings over the place of the ark, and the cherubims covered the ark and the staves thereof above. And they drew out the staves of the ark, that the ends of the staves were seen from the ark before the oracle, but they were not seen without. And there it is unto this day. And what that means is, when you look at it from, like, if you go into the holy place, you could see the staves or the staves poking out from the oracle. But if you're outside of the holy place, then you can't see it at all, right? Let's see if there's a... Yeah, so I think this would be a depiction there, right? So you can see how long the staves are, right? Pretty long here. And so you can have here, They've placed the Ark of the Covenant over here. They put the staff so the Levites could actually carry it without necessarily directly touching the Ark per se. But you can see the staves here, and this would be like the veil, right? Separating the Holy of Holies, or the oracle, from the holy place, which is here. And then you have the outside of the temple. And this is where the table of the shewbread is. I believe there was another altar in here of incense. But from here, you can probably see the staves poking out. But from outside of this room, this building here, obviously you wouldn't be able to see anything. Okay, so back to 2 Chronicles Chapter 5, verse 10. There was nothing in the ark save the 2 tables which Moses put therein at Horeb, when the Lord Yahweh made a covenant with the children of Israel when they came out of Egypt. And those tables are the tablets, right, with the commandments on it. And it came to pass, when the priests were come out of the holy place, for all the priests that were present were sanctified, and did not then wait by course. And when you look into that, meaning these priests were obviously, in order to enter into the holy place and even touch the ark, you have to be, one, a Levite, but you got to be sanctified, right? So when you read this NLT, it says, then the priests left the holy place. All the priests who were present had purified themselves, whether or not they were on duty that day, right? So basically they were all cleansed, regardless of, whether it was your turn to serve, what division you were, X, Y, and Z. Verse 12, also the Levites, which were the singers, all of them, Asaph, of Heman, of Jeduthun, with their sons and their brethren, being arrayed in white linen, having cymbals and psalteries and harps, stood at the east end of the altar, and with them 120 priests, sounding with trumpets. And it came to pass, as the trumpeters and singers were as one, to make one sound to be heard in praising and thanking the Lord. So in actuality, right now, maybe this could have been the feast of, when it says the feast, maybe this could have been the blowing of the trumpets, right? Because it says that's what they're doing here. And we know, according to Leviticus 23, but that was also of the 7th month, right? In Leviticus 23 and 4 and 24, right? It says, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, in the 7th month, in the 1st day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets and holy convocation. And we see them doing that here, right? So it could very well be that this feast of the 7th month might have been referring to the blowing of the trumpets, as we see them doing here. Nonetheless, as they are sounding the trumpets, you can imagine it's pretty harmonious, right? It's sounding pretty nice in praising the Lord Yahweh. And you obviously having the singers, right? Asaph and the rest of them there, they were singing psalms, and that's a part of the praise. It says here, and when they lifted up their voice with the trumpets and cymbals and instruments of music, and praised the Lord Yahweh, saying, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever, that then the house was filled with a cloud, even the house of the Lord Yahweh. All right, and as we know, the cloud here, right, is a chariot, right, dealing with the vehicles of the Lord and the angels. So you can imagine a chariot pulling up, likely resting above the building, okay, but shining or being glorious enough to where, as it says, the priests weren't able to even continue ministering because they were like, yo. But let's see here. Filled. I want to look at the word filled here, see what we have. All right, so it says to fill, be full, to be full, to satisfy, confirm, fill. So pretty much to, like, in this context, to like take over, right? You can imagine that the presence of the Lord's chariot over there was basically took over everything, because then that's why it says in verse 20, so that the priest could not stand to minister by reason of the cloud, for the glory of the Lord Yahweh had filled the house of God. Okay, so you can see here that praising and that music and that joy, and in which they were praising the Lord, had it to where you had the Lord. You had to come take a look at that. You had to come hear that up close and personal. All right. So that pretty much brings us to the end of 2 Chronicles, the 5th chapter. Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha, Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.